update a record. So let's use the put method and the patch method to update our resource. So there are two different kind of updating. One is to update the whole record, which is to use put. You can think of it as like a replace, okay? And partially update, which is the patch. So like I just want to update one or two field, but I will keep rest of the fields as they were, right? So that's gonna be the patch. But from the design's perspective, we can use put to partially update as well. Right, so it's all about how you design the API. Okay, so it's not like because I use patch, then I have to do partially update. I use put, so I have to use replace update, right? It's like the whole update. It's all about how you write your code, okay, and then how you document this API. So those two methods, they probably won't be used a lot during the project, or maybe they're going to be used a lot. Who knows, right? It depends on the team. But in the interview, you just need to know the difference between them. Okay, so but in the reality is, a put method is more commonly used than patch method. Okay, so we're gonna just implement put method itself. Okay, and because our ingredients is so simple that we don't have a third column. Okay, just ID and name. So whenever we update, we always update the name. Okay, so let's just write a simple API. Okay, so response entity, we're gonna return the ingredient response. Okay, and here we're gonna call it update ingredient. Okay, and then for updating, it's the same as creation, right? But the thing is, we need to give ID to it. So we have this one, and then we can also do the same thing. Okay, copy paste here, and instead of add, we can just call it update. Okay, ingredient. Okay, and request here. Okay, everything good. And for this update, okay, let's imagine we firstly need to find that ingredient, then we need to update it. Okay, so let's implement that method, updating. Okay, so then other than saving, we just create a brand new entity. So for the updating, we can get the ingredient first out. Okay, so ingredient repository dot find by ID. Okay, get the request dot get ID. Okay, so then here we will have a optional, right? So the find by ID, it returns an optional. So let's just use optional to catch it. Ingredient, okay, to hold the ingredient optional. Okay, so here, and then if it exists, okay, ingredient, okay, optional dot get or else. Okay, so we already have this one. Okay, or else throw. It's very similar to find by ID. So it could not exist. Okay? It could be not there. Okay, so we can just do this. But if you look at the method, right? So then this upgrade, those two lines, okay, is actually these two lines. Okay, so then why not we just call this method get ingredient by ID, okay, of this method. So then we can just simplify this to ingredient equal to this dot, okay, get by ID, and the request dot get ID. Okay, so then this will give us the ingredient, and also at the same time it can throw exception. Okay, so if the ingredient doesn't exist, this could throw exception. Keep that in mind. Okay, so then now we need to update this ingredient. Okay, dot set name. Okay, replace it with the new request name here. Okay, and now we just need to save this ingredient. Okay, so just use ingredient repository. Okay, dot save ingredient. Okay, so then if everything goes well, then we can return this new saved one. Okay, so we just here those two lines again. So it's everything, you know, it's look alike. and we have this here. Okay, so basically we get it out. If it's not there, then this method will throw exception. Okay, and then set the new name, and then save it, and then create the response, and then return it back to the controller. Okay, and the controller will return it here. Okay, so now let's test it. Start the project and open the Postman. Okay, so copy, duplicate this tab, and I'll put it in the beginning. Okay, change it to put method / ingredient. Okay, so here, okay, just to make sure that we need the ID field here. Okay, so the ID is 13. And the soybean, let's change it soybean 1. Okay, and the send. Okay, so you see the query looks good. Select and then update. Right, the first select is to get it out. Second is to update soybean 1. And go to the query. See the 13 now. Okay, it's changed. So it's for sure it is working fine. Okay, but let's see if I want to update ID doesn't exist. Okay, send. What's gonna happen? Okay, this will throw exception, but we didn't handle the exception, did we? Right, so this method, right, so if we pass ID which doesn't exist, okay, then this method here, right, it will throw exception, and this ingredient not found exception. Okay, we didn't write any code to handle this exception at this session, but if we send, you can see, okay, it gives this error, okay, a message, which is the exact same message as the first session we created. Okay, so this is because we have this exception handler pre-defined here, right, like last time. So this ingredient not found exception, okay, will handle this method's exception, and also it will handle this method exception. Now you see, right, so the convenience of using exception handler. As long as we throw this exception, then this exception handler will handle this exception. Okay, so that's the update, okay, of this ingredients API. Thanks.